Welcome to the Ultimate Sports Blog Podcast. Today is Tuesday, October 15th, 2018. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's LCS game between the Brewers and the Dodgers, go over last night's thriller of an NFL game between the 49ers and the Packers, go over the NHL slate from yesterday, go over the NBA slate for today, and some unfortunate sports news. And, of course, I'm going to do my NFL power rankings and players of the week. All right. The Brewers defeat the Dodgers 4-0 in Game 3 to take a 2-1 series lead in the NLCS. Julius Chassin with the win, Walker Buehler with the loss. Top of the first, RBI double, Ryan Braun, 1-0 Brewers. Top of the sixth, Travis Shaw scores on Buehler's wild pitch to make it 2-0. Top of the seventh, two-run shot, Orlando Arcia, 4-0 Brewers was your final. Dodgers offense goes cold. And I'm going to say this, home run or nothing does not win you anything in the playoffs. And the Yankees probably should have taught anybody that last round. The Dodgers are built similar to them, and it's showing right now. And Milwaukee's bullpen has been the difference so far. And so is their starting pitching. And Craig Counsell's pulling the right buttons on when to pull guys, although he did not manage Game 2 pretty well. You got to give the Dodgers credit in Game 2 more than blaming Craig Counsell, but the Brewers could easily be up 3-0 right now, but no, it's a 2-1 series, and they still deserve credit for that. NFL last night, what a thrilling of a Monday night game. The Packers defeat the 49ers 33-30. The Packers are now 3-2-1. The 49ers are 1-5. Aaron Rodgers proved yet again why he's so special. 25 of 46, 425 yards, 2 touchdowns. C.J. Beathard, promising game until the end there. 16 of 22, 245 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. 49ers actually had the lead in the fourth quarter. Devonta Adams scores a 16-yard touchdown. 1:55 left. They tied up at 30, and then Mason Crosby a 27-yard field goal at the buzzer to give the Packers a humongous, much-needed victory. Hockey. Only 4 games last night. The Maple Leafs defeat the Kings 4-1. Another win for Toronto. They're 6-1. LA's 2-3-1. Number 1 star of the game with 2 goals in the game. Kasperi Kapanen, your number 2 star of the game, backup goalie with 33 saves. Garrett Sparks. And your number 3 star of the game, Austin Matthews, with 2 assists. The Canadiens destroy the Red Wings 7-3. The Red Wings might be the worst team in the league as they drop to 0-4-2. Montreal's 3-1-1. Number 1 star of the game, Thomas Plekanec with a goal. Number 2 star of the game, Thomas Tatar with a goal and 2 assists. And number 3 star of the game, Jonathan Drouin with 2 goals. The Senators defeat the Stars 4-1 to continue their surprising start. They are 3-2-1. Dallas is 3-2. Number 1 star of the game, Craig Anderson with 37 saves. Number 2 star of the game, Brady Tkachuk with a goal. And number 3 star of the game, Matt Duchene with 2 assists. The Predators defeat the Wild 4-2. The Preds are 5-1. The Wild are 1-2-2. Kyle Turris, number 1 star of the game with an assist. Number 2 star of the game, Philip Forsberg with a goal. And the number 3 star of the game, Craig Smith with a goal. More games on the slate tonight. We have 8. Avalanche Rangers, Stars Devils, Panthers Flyers, Canucks Penguins. 7:30, Hurricanes Lightning. 8 o'clock on NBCSN, Coyotes Wild. I think that the Wild win that game. That is an NBCSN game. And Minnesota just needs the win at home in front of their fans. Oilers Jets, and at 10 o'clock you have the Sabres and the Golden Knights. The NBA begins today. There are 2 games on the slate. On TNT, the 76ers and the Celtics. This should be a fun game between 2 of the best 3 teams in the East. I did my NBA predictions podcast yesterday. I have Boston 1 in the East and Philadelphia 3. I think that Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons are two of the best 20 players in the league. And I think Boston has 3 of the top 30 players in the league. And I think with home court advantage, I like the Celtics here in this little playoff rematch. And the back end of the doubleheader, the Thunder at the Warriors, 10:30 on TNT. No Russell Westbrook. Golden State wins big tonight. And I mean big. Like, they're going to win this game by 20 plus. I'd be shocked if this was a single-digit game in the fourth quarter, barring any weird, garbage time shots from Oklahoma City and then players on Golden State that play on their bench giving up. But this is going to be a double-digit win for Golden State, 105-90 or something like that. I'm sorry, 110-90, because I said I'd be shocked if this was within 15 points. So I'd say 110-90. They're going to show up on both ends of the floor. Kevin Durant's poised to get off to a good start in his contract year. So there you go. Sad news to talk about a little bit. Paul Allen, the owner of the Seattle Seahawks and Portland Trailblazers, and the co-founder of Microsoft, has passed away yesterday due to lymphoma. He was 65. This is just terrible news. And my heart breaks for the fans of those fan bases and Allen's family. Although he apparently wasn't married or had any children. This is just a sad story, and I expect the Blazers and the Seahawks to play their hearts out in their respective seasons, with the Blazers starting Thursday against the Lakers, and you have Seattle, who is starting to play a little better. They actually have a bye, so that's unfortunate. So whenever their next game is, I expect them to come out there and have a good effort. Guess the lines. Each and every week I guess the lines for the next week of the season. And Thursday night, the Broncos take on the Cardinals. I have the Broncos laying 1 point in Arizona against the Cardinals. And the Broncos are laying 2.5, so I was 1.5 points off there. This is a lesser slate this week because there's some teams on byes. And then we have the London game, which is a 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time kick between the Titans and the Chargers. I have the Chargers as a 6-point favorite in London, and they're laying 6.5, so I was a 0.5 point off there. Patriots and the Bears, I have the Pats only a 3-point favorite in Chicago, and the Pats are laying 3.5, so I was a 0.5 point off. The Bills and the Colts, 1 o'clock on CBS. I have the Colts as a 7-point favorite over the Bills, and they're laying 6.5. Again, 0.5 point off. 1 o'clock on Fox, we have the Lions and the Dolphins. I have the Dolphins, yes, the Dolphins as a 2-point favorite. Detroit's actually a 1-point favorite. I disagree with that line. Detroit shouldn't be favored on the road against anybody, to be honest. To me, they're just not a team that should be favored on the road. Maybe against the Raiders or the Giants, but they really shouldn't be favored against anybody on the road at this point. The Vikings and the Jets, I have the Vikings by 3, and the Vikings are laying 3, so that was a correct pick. The Panthers and the Eagles, I have the Eagles minus 4.5. at home over Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers. And Philly is laying 4.5, so another correct pick by me. The Browns and the Buccaneers, I have the Bucs laying 3 at home against the Cleveland Browns. And the Bucs are laying 3. So yet another correct pick, so that's 3 in a row I nailed. Houston at Jacksonville, I have the Jaguars by 4.5. And that's what the line is. So that's 4 in a row correct. The Saints at the Ravens, I have Baltimore -2. And it's 2.5, so a half point off. The Rams at the 49ers, I have the Rams -10.5 at San Francisco. And the Rams are -11. So again, a half point off. Cowboys at the Redskins, I have the Redskins -3 at home against the Dallas Cowboys, and they're only laying 1.5. I think that's an overreaction line to how good Dallas looked last week. I think that said more about Blake Bortles. I'm sorry. Sunday night, the Bengals at the Chiefs. I have the Chiefs -7. And it's -6. So it's 1 point off. And then the Falcons at the Giants. I have the Falcons as a 6.5 point favorite at home against the Giants. And they're laying only 6. So half point off. So I did pretty good guessing the lines this week. And last, I'm going to do my NFL power rankings for the week. I'm going to go from 32 to 1. Going to try to be quick here. And then we're just going to say one little thing about each team. 32 is the Oakland Raiders. This is probably the worst team in football. I feel kind of bad for John Gruden, not really. 31, the Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen's hurt. Nate Peterman's in. Nate Peterman is just terrible. 30 is the New York Giants. I think it's time for them to move on from Eli Manning. And he certainly might be hurting his Hall of Fame case. Or I'm sorry, the Giants are, by not sending him off properly. So interested to see how that plays out the rest of the year. They certainly look like the worst team in the NFC. 29 is the Indianapolis Colts, who can score but can't defend. 28 is the Denver Broncos, another team that made a mistake last year by not taking a quarterback in the draft, it seems like. That's the Giants' competition, along with a couple other teams for Justin Herbert next year, it seems like. 27 is the San Francisco 49ers. I have to give this team credit. I thought this team was going to be the worst in football the rest of the season without Jimmy Garoppolo. They almost beat Green Bay in Green Bay, but does that say more about Green Bay? Time will tell. 26 is the Arizona Cardinals. We're competitive a little in Minnesota. I have to give them credit. Josh Rosen's played well. 25 is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This team totally went to tank, although they should have probably beaten Atlanta. We're a couple inches away from it. This is another team that's a dark horse candidate for drafting a quarterback in the first round next year, because they may be willing to move on from Jameis Winston. And so is the number 24 team. I can't believe I'm saying this. The Tennessee Titans. Marcus Mariota is not looking like the guy they thought he was going to be. There's people on Twitter saying that he's a bust. He's close to being a bust, I'd say. And the Titans, to me, are arguably the worst team in the AFC South, although they're better talent-wise and record-wise than the Colts. Number 23 is the Atlanta Falcons. Huge win for them on Sunday over the Bucs. They have to win again on Monday night at home against the Giants. If they don't win that game, they're done. Number 22 is the Detroit Lions, who probably shouldn't be this low. They're coming off a bye. 21's the New York Jets. Again, probably shouldn't be this low, but they deserve credit for being at 3-3. 20's the Houston Texans, also 3-3, turning around after starting 0-3. Have a real chance to get above 500 this week with a win. Number 19's the Jacksonville Jaguars. Their season's really gone to tank. Blake Bortles has regressed. And number 18's the Dallas Cowboys. I'm still not sold on them. I just think it was a one-week aberration. Next week we'll be telling against Washington. Number 17 is the Cleveland Browns. Terrible loss to the Chargers. Number 16 is the Miami Dolphins. A huge win to stay alive in the AFC picture. But I still think this is a fraudulent team. Number 15 is the Seattle Seahawks. Impressive win in London over the Raiders. Rest in peace, Paul Allen. 14 is the Green Bay Packers. Great win to perhaps save their season against the 49ers. They have two rough ones coming up after their bye, at the Rams and at the Patriots. 12 is the Baltimore Ravens. Impressive shutout win over the Titans, although the Titans aren't that good. 11 is the Chicago Bears. Classic trap game losing at Miami with the Patriots this week. That was a complete trap game. Their defense was looking ahead to Tom Brady. That's why they lost that game. Brock Osweiler's getting a lot of love, but to me that says more about the Bears looking ahead rather than the Dolphins being good. 10 is the Cincinnati Bengals. Should have beaten the Steelers, but didn't. That doesn't mean that they're not a contender. That means that, we lost to a better team. That's all. Tough one on Sunday night against the Chiefs. It was a good thing the Bengals got off to a good start. 9 is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Impressive win at Cincinnati. This team is starting to play better by the week. And Ben Roethlisberger, Mike Tomlin deserve a lot of credit. 8 is the Carolina Panthers, who had a bad loss in Washington, although they came back from 17-0 down to potentially come back and win that game. 7 is the Los Angeles Chargers. That was their best performance of the year at Cleveland. A lot of people thought they were going to lose that game. 6 is the Philadelphia Eagles. Impressive win at the Giants, but my fear is that said more about Eli Manning being washed than Philadelphia being back. 5 is the Minnesota Vikings, who took care of business against the Cardinals. Number 4 is the New Orleans Saints, looking better and better by the week. They have a big one on the road against the Ravens on Sunday, and can't wait to watch that game. 3 is the Kansas City Chiefs. They lost to the Patriots. Can't fault them for that. They have an opportunity to rebound in a big way at home against the Bengals on Sunday night. Number 2 is the New England Patriots. Dominant on offense, not so much on defense. But a win is a win, and they deserve to win that game against the Chiefs. Andy Reid, typical Andy Reid, losing them the game, but that was a game the Patriots had to have at home in prime time, or else you would have been hearing the quote-unquote is Tom Brady done conversations again if they lost that game, especially if they didn't put up points. But their defense is so bad, New England's. And number 1 is the Los Angeles Rams. They're not being dethroned by anybody yet. They survived the trap against Denver. Denver made that game close late. The Rams needed an onside kick to get the win, and they did that, and they have a division opponent next week against the 49ers in San Francisco, who actually look decent in Green Bay. But does that say more about Green Bay than it does about San Francisco? We'll find out on Sunday. And that's it for the podcast today. I'll be back tomorrow recapping the 2 Red Sox, Astros, and Brewers, Dodgers games. And by the way, I didn't go over those games for today. Red Sox, Astros is first. That's Nathan Eovaldi against Garrett Cole. And then 9 o'clock on Fox Sports 1 is Brewers-Dodgers Game 4. That is Gio Gonzalez and Rich Hill. So that's something to look out for. Also go over NBA opening night, all the NHL action, and anything else that happens in the world of sports. Hope you guys have a great day, everybody.